afternoon, good morning, good evening, folks. This is your man, always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube, folks. It's the first of the month. Get your check and come on, yeah. On the first day of first, Miss My True Love gave to me. So, as you know, folks, can you believe it, folks? We're the middle of 2026. Shit. Seem like we just started the new year. Summer's about to hit. We got some shows coming up. We just finished off with a banger just last weekend. There's a lot of controversy about that one. Everybody's going crazy, as the other guy would say. But as a content maker, it's very interesting of what we're going to see this coming up for the upcoming Olympia. So, folks, I have here a lovely lady, and she is a IFB Physique Pro. She actually turned pro 2 years ago at the Masters USA's, and she's been in the game for quite some time. She's planning also making her pro debut this year. We have here the lovely IFB Physique Pro, Miss Cara Barnes. And Miss
Hello,
Barnes is
y'all.
here. Yeah, hello. And she's here to share her story, her path, what got her started in the sport of bodybuilding. So welcome, Cara, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to be here.
Well, ma'am, the audience is mine. So, Cara, I'm going to ask you this question. What got you started in sport? I call it muscle and masculinity. Please share.
For me, it happened by accident. I loved weight training. I played sports when I was growing up, but I loved weight training. I was drawn to the gym. And I started at a private gym as what we now call lifestyle clients. I started when I was in my early 30s, just wanted to look better and feel better about how I looked and wanted to look like an athlete because I didn't feel like I looked like one. Just wanted to get in better shape. And over time, working out with athletes who were competitors and going to see their competitions, it kind of evolved for me. I did one show, not really knowing what to expect, but who does their first time out, right? And after that, I was hooked.
Mhm. Yeah, bodybuilding, it can be addictive when you get into it. The training, the regiments, the discipline, the consistency. I mean, I know quite
Yeah.
a lot of ladies who I remember ladies telling me who got into the sport maybe in their 40s and their 50s, and they found something about it that really, I think, stimulate their minds. And also, it's a sport where I think it helps with maybe improving yourself physically. Some ladies who have got into because dealing with either some kind of issue of weight or some kind of food addiction, or just after having kids, they wanted something to help out their bodies because they were kind of didn't feel like they were, themselves anymore.
Well, it becomes something that's ours. As an athlete, it's the structure becomes addictive in its own way, but the constant and continual improvement, even as a competitor or not, because I think you can achieve some of these things without being a competitor, but it's mine. This is me. This is my identity. It's who I am. And I think for a lot of people, but women especially, we give so much of our lives to the people around us, our homes, our work, our families, our kids, and that's okay. That's an admirable role, but this is something that women can do for ourselves to make us better. And I think that is for a lot of us, it's so empowering once you start doing it and taking control of your life and your physique, which is a big part of your life. It's hard to stop once you get started.
I can tell you about myself. I was one point because I was taking my mom for a long time,
Hmm.
and if you ever know anybody taking care of a family member that's been sick, it can be a lot of stress mentally and
Yeah.
physically on you. And I one point I was nearly 500 pounds. After my mom passed, I was at a doctor's office and said, "Miss McCarthy, you just a shy few pounds away from 500." And then I decided, you know what, I need to take a step back and take care of myself because even though I don't have her anymore, I got me to worry about.
Right.
And doing interviews with you ladies, you really kind of give me the idea of stuff. I've often say, "Hey, George," somebody said, "George, I'm here to your plan. I can't afford you." I said, "No, it's not about afford, but I want to do it on my own, see what I can do." But I've done it pretty well. I mean, doing it for the past 3 or 4 years. Where I'm always right now, I'm at 416. That's probably I was a little lighter one time, but then I had a setback and I did some stuff wrong, and that was bad. But I got to do it smart and healthier.
It's something that you, regardless of what your end goal is, when you're on this journey, it's something that you have to live every day. You're gonna fall off. I think that's true with anything. But you got to be just to give yourself a little bit of grace when that happens. And I think some people fall off and they just, oh, it's over. I'll never recover. No, forgive yourself, work with yourself, learn from it, and keep moving. But I, my personal story, I grew up in AA and uh, Al-Anon. My dad was an alcoholic, so I have seen addiction to the extremes, and I've also seen recovery. And I carry a lot of those lessons with me, even in my bodybuilding journey. Just get me through today. I'll do what it takes to get me through today, and then tomorrow I'll do it all over again.
That's pretty
So
good. Well,
that's my advice to you. If you fall off, just keep going.
yeah, like the great Rocky Balboa says, no matter how hard you can hit, it's how hard you take the hits, keep moving forward.
There's a
That's
lot of
how.
truth in that statement. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Rocky, yo, Adrian, I
Right.
did it. Yeah, that's a great class.
Uh,
So, what was your first contest, and what's that experience like for you? And what division you were in when you first started?
I've always done women's physique. That's the only division I've done. When I started, there wasn't women's bodybuilding. There was only bikini. It was new. Figure had been around for a while, and women's physique. Women's bodybuilding had just been pulled kind of from all shows at that point. I did not have the shape for figure. Figure, as you know, has that V taper. I don't have that naturally, so I knew figure wasn't an option for me. And at the time, bikini was so new; it wasn't as muscular as it is now. So I had even then in my at the beginning of my journey too much muscle for bikini, but I also didn't want to have to wear the shoes. I'll be honest, I didn't want to have to wear the heels. Now I'll tell you this, had I known at the time when I agreed to do a competition, had I known that women's physique had a 60-second performance set to music, I wouldn't have done it. I was terrified. I wouldn't have done it. It's become my favorite part, but because I was terrified of the heels and I was terrified of the performance. But my first competition was in 2013. It was a local NPC show. We don't have it anymore, but it was the Western Regional, and it was one of the largest shows in NPC history at the time. So it was a massive show. There was over 400 athletes. It was a big show, and even in my division at the NPC level, there was, I don't remember the exact number, but over 10 women. So it was a lot different than the landscape today.
Yeah, it has evolved over time. I think,
Yeah.
like, especially, I think we talk about physique. When it came, I wasn't a big fan of it. I called it watered down women's bodybuilding because,
Okay.
it was just, it was similar to women's bodybuilding, but somewhat not as much. And now, if you look at it today, it's kind of blurred lines between the divisions where it's almost it's interchangeable. We've seen ladies coming from women's physique come up to women's bodybuilding, and some who are still in women's physique that could be women's bodybuilding. We have here some comments here. Shout out to my man Black Panther. He's coming through. I appreciate the brother support. He says, "Hi George, how you doing, brother?" Also, he says to you, he says, "Congratulations to Cara Barnes." I say thank you.
Thank-
Also, shout out to him. He says, "Women's wait, let me give a second. I'm put my old man glasses on because sometimes women's bodybuilding and women's physique are the worldwide. Yeah, okay. And also, he says this. He says, having good mental health equals positivity and longevity. I appreciate that. Also, he says one more here. He says this. He says, fitness is a life choice. Yes, because it's tough. Like, I think everybody wants a fix like a quick, fast, and hurried solution. There's no such thing as that. It
no.
takes time.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is for competitors, it's something that we get fixated on this prep window, this for each person it's a little bit different, but let's say 12, 16 weeks. But this is something that we live year round. We're always essentially in prep because we're always preparing for our next competition. But outside of competitions or outside of bodybuilding, if you want to be a healthy person, fit, healthy, athletic, it's part of the decisions and choices that you make every day. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I agree full heartedly with the commenter.
yeah, because I think that's the thing is if the body's not willing, if the mind's not willing, the body's not going to follow. And I think
Agreed.
especially here in America, the mental health issue is sometimes very overlooked. Like back in the day when people say, "Well, you just take a stiff upper lip and keep on pushing," and, and that thing it doesn't work like that because if you're like we just had a lady, if you heard a while back, who passed away. She was IFB pro. She committed suicide, and she was dealing with some stuff. And she and her death was just surprising because she feel like she was in good spirits, but things happen in life. And I think being a bodybuilder, sometimes it can, affect your mindset, especially when you have to present yourself in your body on a stage in front of people and judges and just the whole understanding of what you believe is your idea of what's considered a bodybuilder.
I believe that bodybuilding doesn't, it can't, well, it can change you as a person, but I also believe it enhances to the extreme everything about our body and our mind. It's not going to fix what's broken. And if, if there are underlying, regardless of what someone does with their life and journey, mental health can be easily ignored and it's hard to identify. So it's something that if we can make it a priority across the board, I think that's beneficial. But be going into bodybuilding, and I know people who have done this because it gives them something else to think about, something else to fixate on. But we push our bodies and our protocols to the extreme. If there's an underlying issue, a health issue, whether it be mental or physical, it's just going to exasperate it.
Yeah, because you don't want to. I think that's what we talked about. This sometimes it's good to go seek some mental health, especially going through like prep can be one of the biggest pains because your mind is you just have so many things worn through it, and so many things going on with your body, and then
Yeah.
you feel like you don't know what you want to do, and some people will overlook it, but then sometimes it's best to go ahead and say, you know what, I need some help. We got here a comment from a man, Shaman Miller, coming through. Sean says. He says, good afternoon. Good afternoon, brother. Also, from my man, Black Panther, he has also a comment. I got to put my old man glasses on one more time. He says this. He says, having a personal God is part of obtaining good mental health. Yeah, but I'm still like this. Religion sometimes can be twisted in a way where it's not always good. It's good that I think it's a personal choice with you, what you believe and what your faith is.
Yeah.
Shout out to my man, Black Panther says, where's Cara Barnes is from? He says, where you at?
So right now I live in Phoenix. I've been in Phoenix, Arizona for 22 years. I was an Army brat, so I lived all over. But my family's from East Tennessee.
Uh-huh. So who served, your mom or your dad?
My dad, Army.
Army. Oh well, I say this. I have my oldest niece and my youngest nephew served. I don't say thank you to your father. I don't say thank you for his service. I say as a citizen, I appreciate the sacrifice has he made you and your family on behalf of us
Yeah,
of this country. Thank you is never enough because you know what, you can say thank you service to somebody who serves you or somebody who's your nurse or your doctor, but for military service people, thank you is never enough. And
I agree.
yeah, and you travel. You ever been overseas in your travels?
I not really. When I was a kid, I lived in Germany. We were stationed there, but I was too young to really remember a lot of it. And I don't travel much. I'd like to. Maybe one day I will. I don't get overseas much at all, and because actually, hopefully, one day I'll compete overseas. That's kind of a goal. So, but no, I don't travel a whole lot. I kind of stay in my little bubble. I've got 10-mile radius between my house and my gym, and that's where I've spent my last 20 years.
I, I can tell you, I'm a country boy. I I can tell you, I used to when like most travel I did with members would get school trips. Then a couple of times with my family, my sisters and my nieces and nephews, we went to Florida, to Disney World, went to Virginia. This year was the most I ever traveled I can remember. I went to Tampa, this past summer. I went to visit my oldest niece and my great nephew in Atlanta, and I'm planning to also go on a trip. I'm going to a show. This it's going to be like the end of summer, the first of the end of summer, because you know
Okay.
what, I want to do more. I mean, I never really did a lot because most of the time I was working. I had two jobs. I
Mm,
was working. Yeah, I was working at a gas station when I was 16, and then I was working here at a textile factory. I worked here, there with school for a little bit. I even worked at a strip club when I was. I remember
not
guys
the
comes
name
at
of it.
Yeah, I remember guys telling me, George, you work at the club. It's not that exciting, guys. Yes, you can see halfway butt naked women, but still, some nights is not a good night. There can be a pain like any other woman.
You got to make money. I don't hold anyone back or any ill thoughts to anyone. You got to make a living.
Yeah, you gotta make money. The way things are going, yeah, because Arizona, you know, I know. Whew, I've eaten crafty ladies. I know one lady that I interviewed that was one of your clients, and that is Elisa, amazing young lady who just also she turned pro about the same time as you did back in
Okay.
2024.
Okay.
Yeah, Lisa. I forgot I forgot how to pronounce her name. Why? You know, if
It's not, it's not sticking
it's
out.
I got a picture here. I'll probably bring it up later, but
Okay.
yeah, but back to Leslie. Why I say Lisa Leslie? Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I know Leslie.
yeah,
We're
Leslie.
friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Why I say Lisa? I, you know, I'm getting my old timers,
Yeah.
but Leslie, she just made
Yeah.
her pro
She's
debut.
a fellow Phoenician. We came up about the same time. She got her pro card at the USA's in 2024, and I got mine at the USA Masters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the same year because she was in the Masters because I know she did the. I saw her when she did the Miss International. I think she had a great physique, and it was I'm surprised I didn't get a pro card. And then we reached out, and then we finally set up an interview after she did the Masters USA's, and and she looked pretty good. I mean, she looked pretty good at the Triple O. I mean, congratulations. I know she's I'm hoping maybe we get to see maybe another show for her, maybe not this year, but next year.
Yeah. Yeah. She's doing what we're all doing, just trying to continuously improve ourselves. That's bodybuilding. It's not how good you look now, it's how good you look compared to your last show. And are you constantly improving? So she works hard. She's, doing her thing and working to get better.
hmm So I know you've been a coach and a trainer for a good while. How long you been doing that?
About 12 years, I think. Um, Time goes by really fast. And it's like all of a sudden it's 2026. I started working on the coaching side in 2013. So I guess it's been about 13 years now.
Yeah, and that's pretty good because I've seen on your social media you got quite a few clients. Just so recently, some of your clients just competed at a show. I mean,
Yeah,
you
we
got me
had two
finally.
this weekend, did their first competitions. We had a bikini competitor here locally, and then a men's physique competitor, but he went to his home state in Iowa to compete. And they both did really well for their first competitions this past Saturday.
Well, congratulations. We had quite a few shows this past weekend. You should know about
Yeah.
getting them up. Oh, we have a man, No Dose. He says, hi to everyone. Thank you, No Dose, for coming through. Also, my man, Black Panther, saying this. He says, uh, the Rising Phoenix will be in Chandler,
Chandler,
Arizona.
yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's a very popular show. The Rising Phoenix, also the Arizona Pro, if you
Mhm.
recognize that also. And also he says this, give me a second, he says, strong women can come together to expand the shows for women's bodybuilding and women's physique. Yeah, we just got to get
I
some. I
agree.
know, yeah,
Yeah.
just if you hadn't heard, just about a few days ago, Austin Carr, who promotes the Steve Carr show, just added women's physique to his show lineup.
I did see that. I think it's what, November 7th?
Yeah, it's about the same
Yeah.
weekend as the Romanian Muscle Fest because the Muscle Fest is going to be on the Sunday the 8th, and their show is going to be at Saturday the 7th.
Yeah. Yeah. I made note of that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. As you know, it's a pretty good show. I really respect what he's doing, giving the opportunities for special. I was surprised. I was going to feel like any division he was going to bring to that show was probably going to be the high heel division or the TNA division, like
Yeah.
wellness or bikini, as you know, those are very popular. And there's a new division, excuse me, fit model. I mean, I've interviewed a lady a couple ladies who done fit model. One just turned pro last year. Nice ladies. I have nothing against them. I've been following bodybuilding for a long time, and I've seen how the sport has evolved, especially for the men and the women. And to me, I feel like what's the point of bringing another division? It's going to end up looking like the division that is supposed to replace it.
So I've got mixed feelings on it too, but from what I see is I do understand what the promoters and the powers that be are saying, and that it is, the entry is a little bit easier. So it's more accessible for new athletes. And eventually, as these women continue to lift, just like all of us, they're going to continue to put on muscle. They're going to grow, they're going to develop, and a good portion of them may potentially go up in divisions. So I don't hold that against anybody. It's a business. Do what's best for the business. Do what's best for the athletes. On the other hand, though, I want to see more. Personally, I want to see more women's physique and bodybuilders come out. I think if we want to have shows for us, then we've got to be at the shows. Now, I say that having not done one yet, because I also feel like you need to wait until you're ready. But how many shows have you seen already this year where the numbers are really small? As a
Yeah.
promoter, how many shows are you going to continue to do where you only have 3, 4, 5, 6 athletes show up? So I would like to see, I don't, yeah, let the fit model and the bikinis and the heeled divisions, let them grow, but I want to see our divisions grow too.
Also, the thing is also the factor of expensive bodybuilding. It is expensive. It's a sport, but somewhat of a hobby. Where if this is a professional sport, you can make a living off of. There's only like a very 2 to 1% that can really make a living off of bodybuilding. But everybody else is just.
Yeah.
Shout out to my man Big Keith. He said like this: you pay. You still from Peter to pay Paul. For
Yeah.
you, yeah, for you ladies, show day is probably one of your biggest expense because for guys they have their expense, but truthfully, you just wear a pair of banana hammers, some board shorts, slap on some tan, and just put on some mousse in your hair. But you ladies, you have to have a presentation. You have to have a look to you. You have to be a walking a fine line of femininity and muscularity.
Our stage presentation can cost thousands between the hair, the makeup, the tan, the nails, the suit. It's a very expensive day. Generally speaking, men pay more in prep to get to stage because their physical needs are greater, more protein, their food is more, their supplements and all those things cost more money because it's more volume. So we both pay a price, an actual price. It's expensive for men and women. But as far as women's physique and bodybuilding, it takes time to build the body. It doesn't take as much time for fit model. It's more accessible in that regards. Most women's physique and women's bodybuilding, they've been lifting for years before they step on stage. Some longer than others, 2, 3, 4 years. So it's hard to tell a new athlete, oh, you're going to be great in 4 years. Well, people don't want to hear that. They want to be great now. So it just takes time, and that's part of the price that we pay in the more muscular divisions is the time.
Yeah, like I think a lot of competitors want everything quick, fast. Especially young competitors want everything quick, fast, in a hurry. But there's no quick,
Yeah.
fast in a hurry. It's like you hit
No.
that. Yeah, it takes maybe some ladies might take 5 or 6 years before they start finally get on stage because they want to see that time develop and grow. So we
Right.
have to come comments, and
Okay.
we have here from my man. Shout out to my man Black Panther. He says this. He says, "Women's bodybuilding, women's physique are great divisions for women who want to be the best versions of themselves. In professional opinion, I am a strong fan of women's bodybuilding." He is a fan. Also, he says this, shout to my man. He says, Mexico and Brazil can be great places for women's bodybuilding because they just added a couple of shows to the lineup. They already have physique at those shows, but this year is added women's bodybuilding. We have here Haley, and Haley says, "Hi, hi, Haley. Is that
Hi.
somebody you know?"
I don't know.
Probably get people. Hey, people come here like this. It's like the episode of when Charlie Murphy meets Prince, not Prince, and then this guy Nikki Free hanging with them and said like, Prince got Shalimar got a new girl. She fine as a motherfucker. He said, when I get a new girl out here, say, hey, George got a new girl. She's fine as a motherfucker. They get excited when we get the girls out here. So what we're gonna do, guys, is while we get Cara here. And if you want to follow her, links in the description of this live. If you want to check her out, support her, reach out and give you interest. Also, she's a coach and trainer. You do both competitors and lifestyle.
Yes, online and in person.
All right. So if you're someone in the Phoenix area who's interested in working with her, and also if you're a competitor who's interested in working with her, reach out to her and generate interest. But guys, I know she's a lovely lady. She got some pretty eyes too,
Oh, thank
And
you.
guys, reach out and generate interest. Don't be weird. Don't come on. This. I know you guys. It's one of my crimes. I have to admit to you, Cara, is I'm a muscle person. Oh, you ladies, y'all excite me, young muscles. You just kind of bring something out of me. But I try to keep that under wraps and try to keep it calm because you know what. Okay. But I respect what you do as a competitor. Shout out to my man Black Panther. He says, "Beautiful smile, Cara. He loves your
Thank
smile."
you.
So we're gonna jump into the links. You want to follow the links in the description is live. You want to support them, reach out into your interests, but don't be that weird guy. So here we are. We're gonna pop into our IG here, and this is one of your competitors here. This lovely lady here.
Yeah,
And
Christy. She's the one that just competed this weekend.
yeah, I mean, and wow, she's bikini. Shit.
She is muscular for bikini, but that's her physique, and we didn't want to change that because that's what makes her unique, and that's part of what makes her beautiful.
Yeah, well, she, like my other guy says, she is beautiful. Yeah, you should
Yeah.
be proud of her. This was her first show,
Yep. Yep. Very first one.
and here's this young man. Who is this boy here?
This is Austin. He's the one that went to Ohio for his first show. He did the teen and novice in men's physique.
How old is he?
19.
He's still, like you said, his breath smell like Similac. He's still wet behind the ears, huh?
Yeah. But look how much he just glows on stage.
Yeah,
You
he should be
can't help
proud
but
of
love him.
himself. I know, I know his parents are proud of. They're proud of their
They
baby.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes time. It's work. That's him. His little girlfriend's eating, and there he goes again. Impressive young man. So
Yeah. He did
so
good.
and this was his bodybuilding debut too, right?
Yep. Yep. His next one, I hope, will be here in Phoenix with us. But yeah, he's got a big career in front of him. He's young and he's hungry and motivated. So he's got a big career ahead of him.
Yeah, that's the thing when you're young. You just feel like you're indestructible. You can do just about anything. I
Yeah.
remember those
Right.
days where you can run all day and run all night. But then you get to my point in life, like I said, I'm gonna be 52 in November, and I got two bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin. But he should be proud of himself. And and here she is, the lovely Miss Cara, as she's giving a little speech, and we listen to what she's saying to you.
Prep is in full swing. Just got back from cardio. I actually started in February. I take a really long prep. It works better for my body. My body's really slow to respond, so it allows me to take it. Hey y'all, competition prep is in full swing.
So,
Just got back
so
from cardio.
you just competition prep, full swing.
Yep.
So, what show are you prepping for?
If all comes together, my goal is the Rising Phoenix. Yeah.
So you are going to do, or actually, correctly, you'll be doing the Arizona Pro. Rising Phoenix is part of it, but you're doing the part with women's physique, the Arizona
Correct.
Pro.
Right. So
Yes,
it'd be the Arizona
'cause-
Pro at the Rising Phoenix. Yeah.
yes,
It's a local show, which I don't have many opportunities to compete locally as a pro. It's the only one I have. But it's also, I think, a really special organization. So I'm excited.
yeah. I'm a fan of most definitely of the Rising Phoenix, of the guy who runs it, Jake Woods. Anytime I gotta say his name, yo Jake, I want that money, I want that gun. I can't help it every time. I saw him a couple of times in some shows. But yeah, I mean, it's a great organization. It was, for a long time. It was an organization that saved women's bodybuilding when
Yeah.
other shows promoters were pushing out. It's actually the quote from my master Raza Ghul as they walk cry behind them and stab them in the heart. And here she is, who also with another speech here.
Watching. Best case scenario, you've hired an opposing coach. You may see
this is my
them
posting
1 to 2
advice.
hours a week, maybe more if you're lucky, but most of your practice, you're going to be either at home or in the gym on your own time. You're practicing by yourself. I've seen it time and time again. An athlete will stand in front of me and put more effort into their posing than I know they do on their own. But here's why it's important. Unless you're a seasoned competitor or you're used to performing in front of people, your brain is going to shut down when you go on stage. It's just going to happen. The adrenaline and the emotion and the excitement are going to kick in. Your brain's going to shut down. Your body's going to go on autopilot. My first time on stage, when I stepped off and I gave my coach a big hug, the first thing I said was, did I even do it? I had no recollection of going through any of my poses. So I'm telling you, practice like your coach is watching. That way, when your brain shuts down and your body goes on autopilot, you're going to do what you've practiced.
That's good advice. One thing pose is the most important part of presentation on the stage. When you come on and competing, here she is with us, talking with a couple of ladies who are very well. I
Got a
mean,
couple of athletes.
I think one of them looked like that must be Christy. Wow, she got a nice.
Yeah,
Who's
Chrissy
the other?
and Tanisha, who's also getting ready for her first show. She'll be doing
Yeah,
wellness.
I'm very wellness. That's the vision I'm particularly interested in. And who's this gentleman behind you?
That's my coach, Craig Tennell.
And how long
He's
y'all
been
been
my
working
coach
together?
since I started.
Yeah, that's been a long relationship. I mean, and he
It has.
also y'all work together in training other clients too.
You right, we do. It's he owns the gym, but we work as a team when it comes to the training. So all of our clients get two coaches.
Yeah, here she goes, Christy again. Wow.
Yeah, she posts a lot.
She got the body to post for it. Here she
Yeah.
is again.
Pro, one thing that I love about this sport is it's going to evolve as you evolve. When I started, I did my first competition in 2013, had no idea what I was really getting myself into. I just wanted the experience, but I didn't place. So I was like, well, fuck that, I want to win. So I fast forward years later in development and growth to I wanted to compete to win. I got my first trophy. I was like, well, oh, Dad, I want first place. So I thought, one more show. Let me at least get first. Well, that wasn't enough. Then I had to get overall. Okay, I got to go back. One more show. I'm going back in. Well, once I got that, I thought, well, you know what? What's this pro thing everyone's talking about? Maybe I'm gonna keep going on this. Maybe that's where my journey's taking me. Kept competing, got my pro card in 2024. And at the time, I had no desire to compete on the pro stage. It's not what I'm doing. I just want to make it to that pro card. Well, now I'm in prep for my first pro show. So it's going to evolve. It's going to evolve as you do, and that's one thing that I love about this sport is continuous improvement. Hi, y'all. I'm Cara.
Yeah, it is a proven phase in bodybuilding to grow, develop, to work on the aesthetics. Like you got your pro card in 2024. What was that experience like for you when you officially now they told you you're IFB pro?
It will, until the end of time, be one of the most amazing experiences I've ever been through. If you don't know, the USA Masters, you have to not just place first, you have to get overall. And I've had a lot of experiences on stage where I was close, but not quite. And I did the USA's last year, close, but not quite. I was actually fifth in that lineup. So arguably not really close enough. But it was kind of a tune-up show, and I put my head down and made the adjustments and the changes to my protocol. Went into the USA Masters with a much different package. It was much more dialed in. My conditioning was better. Uh, Everything just, for the first time, really clicked for me. But there's always this lingering doubt in the back of my head. And I'm sure everyone goes through that to some degree, but as confident as I felt, I was just, make this another show where it's not my time and it's not going to come together. Did I do enough? Did I pose enough? Was everything what I needed it to be? And I did two divisions. I did the 40 up and the 45 and up. I got first in both of my classes in both of my divisions. And okay, so then you come back into the evening for the finals where you find, you do the overall presentation. But still, you don't know. It's at that point you've done all the work and it's in the judge's hands. But I just went into it with, I'm going to give it everything I've got and we'll see how this goes. And I thought maybe there's a chance I'll get one. That's what I was hoping. But again, that doubt in the back of my mind is, okay, maybe I wasn't tight enough. Maybe I messed this pose up. Maybe you just beat yourself up. It's just also part of the sport. But um, when they called it 40 and up as the overall winner and the pro card, it just, even just talking about it now makes me emotional. I know we all work hard and we all put everything into it. I don't want to diminish what any athlete does, but it was like, finally, all these years and all this work, it finally came together. But how cool would it be to be called twice? But that's not going to happen, that self-doubt. So, you go off stage and you circle around and you come back, and my adrenaline, I was still an emotional wreck, and I'm crying, and my heart's pounding, and I'm getting ready to go back on again. And we did our overall presentation, our mandatories and our quarters. And we do our pose down, and I stand off to the side. I'm like, there's no way. These girls have more muscle than me. I got it once. I'm happy. And then they called my name again. It just, talking about it still puts me back in that feeling of what it was like to be on stage at that moment. And it's hard to put it in words. It just was an amazing experience. Amazing experience. If nothing else good ever happens to me in life, and I know it will. I know I'm just saying that, but those are memories that I'll never forget. It was an amazing night.
It's a precious opportunity because you know what? Some ladies have competed for a long time and they'll get that chance to get a pro card. And then the work, the consistency, the regiment, the dieting, the training, and then you have only a few minutes to present your bodies. And then when somebody say, "Hey, let's congratulate our new IFB pro," that is sensation. I've seen ladies who cried, who broke down. Some cases I know ladies who had to apply because they did a show, but wasn't enough competitors, so they have to apply for a pro card. And still,
Yeah.
I just interviewed a lady. Her name is Clara Crowder. She just got a pro card because she did a show. Yeah, and she was so happy because it was so exciting that even though she had to put an application, but still she's now IFB pro. We got here comment shot to my man Black Panther here. He says this. Bodybuilding is growing in numbers worldwide. It's going worldwide, but it's still kind of a fringe sport if you look at it from the aspects of it. It's not as mainstream as you look at the other sports. Right now, they're about to start the, I think, FIBA Cup in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, having good mental health is essential for inner peace, personal relationship with God, and longevity and true happiness. That's good. And also, he says this. He says, beautiful hair, Cara. You are the greatest. Yeah, I'm telling you. These guys, you get these new girls like your Cara. Yo. So what we're gonna do is this. I found a little interview she did. I'm not her first interview. I mean, I wanted to be her first, but now I'm not. I'll take seconds. I take seconds. So we have the interview she did right after the show, and it is with the one of the guys who worked for the show.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that I learned, my master taught me: beware surrounds all time, your master way. Never get a show full of love. So
you're definitely my first podcast.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm her first. So here's the interview. And you want to check it out, you can go to the Muscle Contest. It's there. You can find it. You got to dig deep because it's in there in the record. So here we go. We're going to do the interview with Cara, and she's talking with her and her trainer about her experience now becoming an IFB pro.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm two-time Olympian IFBB Men's Physique Pro here in beautiful Orange County, California at the Masters USA's with our newest IFBB Pro, Miss Cara Barnes, and the 45 and 40 Women's Physique. Congratulations. We commend you on a job well done.
Thank you.
My pleasure. You're welcome. Tell us about this journey that led you to the victory today, and also tell us who we have here with your amazing support.
Well, it's hard to put in words the journey because I've been, like most athletes, doing this for a very long time. It's been a long journey, but this is my coach, the Tin Man, Craig Tennell. He's been with me every step of the way. My first show going all the way back to 2013. Prep for this show started in March of this year, so it's been a long year. I cannot express how excited and gracious and thankful I am. It's been an amazing ride, and I'm so happy and excited and proud to be part of the IFBB Pro League now.
We're proud and excited to have you part of the IFBB Pro League. We're excited for that journey to continue as well. A little bit from the coach. Tell us how it is working with Ms. Barnes as well.
It's real simple. Tenacity, dedication, perseverance, can-do spirit. I could go on and on and on, but you want the product, here it is.
That is amazing. I mean, that says a lot, right? I mean, there's no man or woman that's an island. It does take a village. And today, that paid off. 11 years in the making, yes?
Yeah, 11.
11 years in the making. We started competing in the same year, April 13, 2013. We're both part of that IFBB Pro League as well. Any plans competing anytime soon now that you're an IFBB Pro?
Yeah, I will have to talk about it and lay it out, but yeah, absolutely. I'll probably do a Wings of Strength show next year.
Not a muscle contest show?
You know, I'll have to, yeah, actually, I'll have to look at the schedule because I love the muscle contest shows.
But you are based in
Phoenix,
as well.
Yeah, so there is a pro show for women in Phoenix with their Wings of Strength, but yeah, the muscle contest has put on a phenomenal show. So yeah, anything I could do to support them and be a part of it again would be awesome.
Hey, you know, we appreciate your support. We appreciate all the love. We commend you once again on a job well done. Congratulations. Safe travels to the two of you. Go enjoy, go eat, go have fun, bask in the victory. It is yours. And again, Miss Barnes, welcome to the IFBB Pro League. We thank you so much once again. Let's go. Congratulations. Two-time Olympian IFBB Men's Physique Pro, Patrick Fulgham, Miss Barnes, new IFBB Pro Muscle Contest, signing off. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm two-time Olympian.
Well, congratulations there. I mean, it was experience, you know.
Yeah.
What, you know, what was your feeling like that day when you were getting interviewed? What was going through your mind?
Just pure freaking joy. I couldn't contain myself. I was so excited. I was so excited. This bodybuilding has been, there's been a lot of ups and downs as a competitor. And for me, I've had some amazing experiences, but I've had more downs than ups. So that was just elated, just pure joy. Like finally it all came together. And yeah, that was a pretty remarkable experience. And just watching that again makes me emotional. And I'm not an emotional person, George. It's not like me.
Well, me, I'm emotional. I'm a Scorpio. We have different forms of emotions. We can be very nice and kind, or we can be very crazy, depending, you know. Like I said, I have a little part of me. But yeah, I mean, it's experience when you get that time and work you put into it. And then, like you said again, you went through a lot. Like I know there was a time where you didn't compete for a good few years. You came back in 2021 and you were gone from what was going on with your life at that time?
There was a lot of changes in my personal life. Some of it was, I know I needed time from a bodybuilding standpoint. I needed time to grow. Because I ended up in 2013, 14, and 15, did 3 shows kind of back to back. I learned a lot about my body and what it needed to go through in the process to get the conditioning that I needed. But I wasn't competitive. If you look back to my earlier shows, I wasn't necessarily competitive. And that wasn't good enough for me. Just doing it for the sake of doing it wasn't enough. So part of from 2015 and 2017 was just growing. And then I did a show in 2017 and I was almost, but not quite, you know, I got second in that show and I had put on a fair amount of muscle, but I wasn't dry enough and conditioned enough. So I didn't compete again for a few years after that. And during that time from 17 to I think it was 21 or 22, when I competed again, I made some choices in my personal life that bodybuilding became my life. Everything in my life is centered around, and where competitors who have done this for a long time will understand there's a lot of aspects of life that we don't always participate in. We make a choice not to because we're separating ourselves out because of our goals. We don't want to be around food. We don't have the energy to be around people. We can't be around alcohol, or if we can, we're not partaking, so it's not as much fun. And then so I just literally went from a lifestyle where I was trying to fit into bodybuilding to where bodybuilding became my lifestyle. And there will be some people that would say that's not healthy, or in the long term, that's not, you know, a lot of people would look at it with disdain, that there's more to life than bodybuilding. But that was the choices that I made. And that's a lot of life changes for me in those years. But that's also when bodybuilding got real for me. And that's also when I started winning and getting hardware and having more to show for the experience than a story of, well, I stepped on stage and this is how it went.
Yeah, because I think everybody takes something out of the experience of bodybuilding. If it's something that maybe make improvements in their lives, or just something that the goal of maybe becoming an IFB pro. And then life happens. I've talked to ladies where they have, like they have things in their life like family and friends that are more important, and they want to spend time with that. And then when especially if you or someone who have children, you want to spend more time with your kids. If you have
Rightfully
things in
so.
your life, job opportunities, you want to take a chance of those, because you know what? Again, bodybuilding is a business sport,
Mhm.
and you want to pay the bills, keep the lights on. You can always come back to them when you're ready. We got here a comment from my man, Black Panther shot to me. He says, uh, Arizona, Texas, and California are great places for WPD shows and women's bodybuilding shows. Yeah, I know some ladies who love to do more shows out west, because there was a show, in California, the Titan Grand Prix, but that's off the list. That was women's bodybuilding. But you have Rising Phoenix and Arizona Pro, and quite a few other shows. It's back in the day, bodybuilding was a mecca for California, but now it seems like it's not so much. It's kind of spread around. Also, the comment here, I got to put my old man glasses. This says, my favorite states are Iowa, West Virginia, Indiana, Idaho, South Dakota, Texas. Women's bodybuilding shoes should be in these states. They are, but the problem is not a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
It's about how many people are going to compete. Most women don't want to do women's bodybuilding because they feel like it's so large and big and muscular. But the fact is, it's about what you bring to the stage. Give him one more. He says this. He says, my favorite states are Iowa, Indiana. Oh, I think he already said that, so forget that. He just repeated himself. He says also great Instagram pictures and videos.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So what was after? This is because I asked you, ladies, especially. You have that long prep, and you've been on that tough diet, and you deny yourself the pleasures of food, like something like the salts and sweetie. What was that thing that you had? What was that thing you desired the most after that last show?
I am a sugar junkie, so when it comes down to it, that's usually what I'm going to go for. So I get an option like immediately after the Masters in 24, I had cheesecake. That was my celebration meal. I had 2 pieces of cheesecake. But usually that's what I'm going to go for, is something sugary. Chocolate cake, you can never go wrong.
My, my mom used to make some great homemade, layer cakes. I used to love those. One time I made one for Christmas because she couldn't do much anymore. And she instructed me. And then the cakes didn't come out as pretty. And she ate one of them and says, son, it's not pretty, but it tastes good. I was
That's all
very
that
proud of,
matters.
I'm proud of that. We got here another comment from my man. He says this, he says, I'll give you a second. He says, bodybuilding is hard sport that involves time, patience, strict organic nutrition. Okay. Also, he says this. It says, great NPC Masters USA video. I think more women should compete in order for women's bodybuilding and women's physique to grow in numbers. And
Yeah, I
also,
agree.
he says this. He says, it says, I'm a Leo, lion August. Lions are my favorite animal that displays courage and power. I'm a Scorpion, So anyway, it's just about time and patience. But most people who look at the sport from the outside, they think I just pop some magic pills and I just get big and huge. I look like Arnold,
I
but
wish
it's
it were that
not.
easy.
Yeah, it's not that easy, because it does take that time. And if you do use those things, it's a part of recovery. It's part of the process. Like I know people tell me, say, George, if they if they don't follow the plan I follow and take that stuff, they're not going to look like what I look like. Because you know what? Again, it's about the consistency, it's about the determination, it's about the persistence, it's about the discipline. It's not so much about motivation, because motivation can go out with the wind.
Yeah, very true.
Mhm. So, and that's the thing about bodybuilding. It's a sport that I think people still kind of look at it because, it's a fringe sport. It's not as, I remember back in the day, you used to catch it on ESPN, network television. Now you can watch cornhole, or I just saw a thing where a friend of mine sent me a thing. They do championship bubblegum chewing. Like, it's just,
I hope
like
that's something.
it's actually real. It's he was a traveler. My friend named David. He runs his own channel called The Female Body Forum. He was at the Ultima Classic this weekend. Shout out to my man David. He tagged me some videos and stuff. And he was traveling, and he was in his motel, and he see pictures of George. Look at this, and he's like, and right there in the thing for the TV guy says championship bubblegum chewing. I say, what
Oh
the?
no.
I mean, I'm like, I've seen some crazy. It's even a pillow fighting organization.
People are bored.
Yeah, they're bored, but but the thing is, that's what bodybuilding because it's the stream of it. That's one thing that kind of gives it kind of stick out, especially when it comes to y'all women. Like, there's like two camps. There's the everyday person who see women like she got these big arms and muscles. She trying to be a man. You trying to be man like me? I'm a man. I got muscles. Well, they're under here somewhere. But then the other camp says like these guys. I say, hey, Cara, I like your muscles. You got to excite me. What's your thoughts on, especially with your family, what they think about you doing this?
My family has been very supportive, but I would also say they don't really understand what it is that I do. I don't see them regularly. All my family is back in Tennessee. So they see, phone calls and what I post on social media. So I don't think my mom's all that crazy about it. And that's primarily because it keeps me from going to visit her more. But but other than that, they've always been supportive of what I do. I've always been in my family the one that's most likely to do my own thing. And they know that.
Yeah, like you have brothers and sisters too.
I have a younger sister, yeah.
Oh, so you're the firstborn. Oh yeah, we
I
know.
am.
I grew up with there was like my parents between my parents there was the nine of us,
Oh
and I
wow.
was like, yeah, I'm next to the last. I have a younger brother and a younger sister, and it was a big family. It's not. I mean, it was
Yeah.
like yeah. Both a couple of my brothers are gone, and one of my sisters has passed. My father's passed. My
Mhm.
mother's been gone for quite some time. I do still have my older brother and the older sisters and my younger brother and niece and nephews and great niece and nephews. And that thing is, family is people that love you unconditionally. Sometimes maybe not there be some issues, but they when I started doing stuff, they really support me, and that's good, because this sport bodybuilding, it's not a sport you really do alone. It's a team effort, and you need that support because even though there's times where you know what it can be a lot, but it's good to have people in your corner, even though they may not understand that. I talk to ladies where they tell me that their parents would say like this, the mother would say like, "Oh, sweetheart, I don't want you to get so buff. You can't find a man." And then the father might say, I already got a son. I don't need another son. You already got a brother. But that's the thing is, this is about you, not so much about them.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about bodybuilding. It's a very personal sport. And it's very you have to be very comfortable in your own skin or become there. If you're not in the more muscular divisions, women's physique and bodybuilding in particular, it can take a toll on you. Speaking of mental health, it can take a toll because people aren't always nice. I would say more often than not, the interactions I have with the outside world, outside of bodybuilding and any gym community, more often than not, it's either in awe or favorable in some way. But every now and then there's a derogatory comment. I was out once, and this was off season. So as a female women's physique, we get big in the off season, right? But you can still tell I lift and I'm muscular. I'm just big. And I hear someone say behind me, "Ma'am," and then I hear someone else say, "Oh no, that's too big to be a woman."
I
You
know
know.
women. I'm country. I know women who just as big. Don't they never really lived. They just were farm girls. I know women who like girls who work farms, drag tractors. Stories of women behind a mule and have muscles and don't
And then
It's
dense,
just
thick muscle.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think the idea of what's considered a femininity is small and slender and petite, like the bikini girls. But if you look at the bikini
Mhm.
girls now, those girls are getting buff. I mean, I'm hearing stories of girls taking when it says, like, "Oh, I take Anavox." You a bikini take that? I mean, tonable. I mean, what's going on? I mean, I understand if you're on the upper epsilon, it's stuff that helps you in your process. But if you're kind of like in this division, but what I was told with bikini, some women try to maintain a certain look, and it's just as hard to maintain to as much as it is to grow.
Well, and that's one of the biggest difference I would say within our sport. With the smaller divisions, they have to keep their physique at a certain size. So they're still developing and building muscle, but they're not going to put on as much muscle. So their programs and supplement protocols are geared to just what you're saying, keeping them within a certain weight. So they don't put on too much size. Where women's physique, women's bodybuilding, I got up to almost 200 pounds this off season. And if truth be told, I should have put on more. My coach would have been happy if I put on more. There's no bikini competitor that's going to walk around close to 200 pounds. It's not necessary. So that's also in part why their level of supplementation might be what it is.
Yeah. We have it coming from my man Black Panther. Shout out to him. He's sticking in here. Thank you, brother. He says, sometimes when you want to get rid of trash in your life, you must say no to things that do not make you happy. Having great inner peace is very important. Thank you, brother. Also, he says, Cara, do you have other business ventures outside of bodybuilding?
Outside of personal training and running the gym, no, this is fitness as a as a fitness professional in bodybuilding. This is all I do.
Was there anything else before you got into it? Because like I said, you got into it in 2013. That was in your early 30s. What you had any other professions? Anything outside of that before you got into bodybuilding?
I worked in corporate America. I worked in for a finance firm. It was a local owned business. I had went to have several college degrees that I probably could use but don't. Um, I graduated from the University of Tennessee with a bachelor's, and then from Keller University with two separate masters. And I went into corporate America, but I didn't like it. I honestly never intended to work in corporate America. I was a bartender growing up. I worked in the food and beverage industry. I just liked going to school. I wanted to be a really educated bartender, but I like being physical. I like working. And I worked when I moved to Arizona, and I got a desk job. It's part of where I actually started to lose myself, because I was really good at what I did and I worked for a really great family, but I didn't like being confined to a desk all the time. I lost the drive and the motivation and being active and adventurous and athletic. I lost all of that. So and that's actually what brought me to the gym when I was trying to find myself again, look better and feel better. In 2013, well, 2012, it started, my company started closing, and they made some financial, or there were some legal changes in the federal law, and the business made financial decisions not to adjust. They decided to close. And I took that as my opportunity to leave corporate America and come work in fitness. Kind of by accident, but I like being active and moving and being involved with people. So it worked out for me.
Mhm. Like I said again, I worked at the strip club. I used to help the bartenders, but I was kind of a bar
Yeah.
back, and I worked the door and security, and get the money from the girls. It's I think people like doing jobs where it's you get a chance to be around people, to be able to move. My other jobs were mostly like when I was younger. My family were sharecroppers. We worked in the field, so we did this. We didn't work tobacco, cotton, this, that. But it wasn't as much for living. Just try to keep things going. Keep the lights on in the
Yeah.
house, and finding a job where there's a difference between a job and a career. With a job is just paying the bill. With a career, you can make a life out of it.
I think there's a lot of level of fulfillment that you get from it.
hmm We have your comment. Shout out to my man, Black Panther. He's been dropping a lot of great comments. He says this. He says, women's bodybuilding, women's physique outside of the U.S. have more support. Mexico and Brazil. Still, I've talked to ladies from those countries. It's not as supportive because there's still that machismo of it. Because if the idea of
Yeah.
women with muscle, like countries like Asia, the Middle East, there's talk about Jake's talking about maybe moving the Olympia to another country. Some people say Dubai, but the problem with Dubai, you won't be able to compete as a female bodybuilder because they don't because it's still a traditional Islamic country, and
Mm.
women can't be half naked. You'd be probably in a Punjab, and no one's going to see the muscle in detail. Shout out to my man here. He says having support system women's bodybuilding is essential. Yeah, it's true. Also, shout out to my man here. He says, "Is Cara always block the negativity in your life? Ignore the haters. Be yourself. Do not entertain the words of ignorant people say meaning things. Say mean things.
Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate that. But also he tells me this says, George, you are the
Wow.
greatest. Nah, brother, I'm just a muscle person, relaxed buff chicks. That's all I am. So anyway, you've been in the sport a long time. Is there anybody particularly that you follow, pay attention to, you respect their work, their ethic, or just really that represents your idea of what bodybuilding is?
Oh, that's a really good question. There are a lot of women that I follow and aspire. I believe in supporting the women in this division and in bodybuilding as much as I can because I know what we have to put our body through. At the top, obviously, Sarah and Natalia are the pinnacle in our sport. This year, if you look at these past few shows, it's been really exciting to see, Paula come up from last year to this year, and then seeing Sarah, how she competed this last weekend, and looking at her journey. So I think both of them are also amazing, but I think they're all amazing. I think all the women are amazing. The Masters Olympia Masters champion, Nana Silva, I think is just amazing. It's just, there's so many of them if you go down the list, but I have a lot of support and pride for all the women in our divisions.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Particularly, I was coming up. I was fans of people like Corey Everson. Not too much Corey Everson. I was more of a fan of Bev Francis, Angela Langer,
Yeah,
Laura Craval. Also, Vicky Gates was one of my favorites. So many ladies. Some ladies I got to meet in person. Like I was at Tampa when I got to meet Paula here. He was just Paula. This is when she was like 25 years old. 25. And wow. Also, I got to meet Shawanka Hinton. At that point, she was number 2 in the world, number 3 in the world in women's
yeah,
physique, your division. And
yeah,
number 3, I got to meet Ashley Jones. I mean, look at me. I'm like a big bear tennis little girl. So,
yeah.
and
Ashley's amazing and so sweet. And so is Andrea Shaw, who is local, I think, at least part of the year. But
yeah,
if we go back in the archives, Corey Everson obviously is one of the pioneers in our sport, and then Linda Murray, who is prominent in the sport still today, and is just a doll. She is so pleasant and such a nice ambassador, and just is so warm and welcoming. And yeah, I look at all of these women with admiration, and I try to learn something from each of them.
yeah, because I know Linda lives in Arizona. I follow her. She followed me back. Sarah Bradley started following me at IG. Andrea, I'm in love with Andrea. I think she's so beautiful. I call her my girlfriend. I mean, she brought something to when they pushed out women's bodybuilding from the Olympia and other shows, the Arnold Classic, and she came in. I think she gave it new life, bringing this great look to it, muscle and femininity all together. I'm gonna say the story. My friend name is Eunice, and Eunice, I got shot Eunice, and this is me and Eunice when we were at the Tampa. I was helping out with a booth, and that's in the middle between us is David Lee Roth. I would never
Okay.
get to meet. I would never get to meet that man in my life. I didn't go to Tampa, help my friend out in her booth, and he was there because he's a big bodybuilder fan. We talked with him a good bit. He was a big bodybuilder fan for years. And Eunice did this for a favor. She just gave me this new hat. I ordered some stuff from her,
Oh
and
yeah.
she sent me this new hat with it. Eunice was at the limit back in 2022. Actually, 2023. That was when we were in Orlando. I always bring this out because to me, this is to quote my other guy, if you get something, Cara, never do it for free. And for me, this is a gift. This is my payment. My friend Eunice got me this issue of muscle development. I got some stacks of it in called my comic books. I used to collect these muscle bags as a kid because again, y'all ladies. And what makes it special, not just this is like an issue with her on the cover, is that when she was at Tampa, when she was at Orlando, and she saw her, she signed it.
Aw.
And I love it. It's when you have someone like Andrea Shaw telling me she appreciates what I'm doing, my work and my content. I like to think, and my friend, shout out to my friend Eunice and her partner Jolene. They run Bad Rap. They are ladies who given the opportunity for women in bodybuilding representing. I would say check out the product. They were also her and my friend David, and this is David here. He was there last year at the Triple O, and here he is. That's my brother David. I love him. He's my brother. But he has his hand, my girl. I love you, my brother, but I don't care about Whitney Jones. He could have switched over, put the Italian, but he has to talk about it. He likes to
Keep
talk.
your hands off Dre.
He did it again too. He was because Andre was at the on a classic at the booth running, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to calm myself. Okay, so listen, okay, but you know what? But women like her and some of these people, like you're amazing ladies to do this sport, to deal with people's ideals and prejudice when it comes to women with muscle, and to be committed to something that is very extreme sport and bit on the fringe. I got to give you ladies respect.
Thank you. And I think across the board, and we talk about some of these women who have taken, they're in the middle of some of the most extreme physical and mental moments of their lives, and they still take a moment to smile and say thank you and be courteous and graceful, and it's so reassuring and refreshing that some of these women are who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it takes a lot to be a woman in this sport, to push your body to certain limits, to stay dedicated and to stay consistent. There's times where I know you get up in the morning, you say, oh, like your regimental training, you get up in the morning and say, you know what? I don't know if I want to go to the gym. I want because I know I say you have two fur babies. You got how y'all people fur babies. My sister had dogs. When my sister married, she had a couple of poodles. She loved her dogs. And that was her thing. And you want to spend time with your little fur babies in the bed. You don't want to get up, but you are disciplined.
absolutely.
You have a goal.
Yeah, there's plenty of times I don't want to do it, or there'll be times that I'm here, I'm in the gym, it's like I still don't want to do it, but you do it. You don't not do it, but sometimes you just don't feel like it.
Mm-hmm. Like when you train, what's your regimen like? Like how's it like for you during the week?
I train 100, almost 100% with my coach. I am very fortunate in that regard. So I don't train on my own. I'm not in control of my own splits and that sort of thing. So it will vary throughout the year. Oftentimes, it's kind of more of a circuit training with the way that we train. But like right now, as I'm trying to lean down, it's more high intensity circuit training, a lot of volume, not necessarily a lot of weight, a lot of volume. So it just depends. I am very fortunate again that I train with my coach all the time. So I don't have to think about it. I just have to execute it once I'm told what to do.
You're like the ones that teach me, coach. What was the game, coach? I do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It allows me to turn my brain off because I also know I'm not so far removed that I don't understand or know what we're doing or why we're doing it or when it needs to be done. But so we'll collaborate and have discussion when it's necessary. But I know that ultimately he's building my training around the physique that I need and working on bringing up my deficiencies. We all have them, and there's some things I have to improve on. So I don't have to think about it. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to second guess it or plan it. I just execute.
Yeah. After you still make critique, you got because I know I think was it Sandy? No, I don't think Sandy was that show with you. Was she?
Sandy was the head judge for my show.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to get it? Because I know to me, she's probably one of the top judges in the sport. Her, Steve Weinberg, a couple of others. Did you ever get critique from her? What did she tell you need to work on, especially if you think about being a pro debut?
Overall muscle development in general, I put on more muscle. I know, and I knew that, that's not, to be competitive at the pro level is not the same as what it got you to that level. I needed to cap my shoulders a little bit more, bring out my lats, especially my lower lats, and denser glutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want that overall look. You want a nice connection between your hamstrings. You want good width because the back can make or break how you place your shows.
Yeah,
Ladies, I've told them many times because you everything can be look good here, but then you turn around, you got saggy booty. You get not.
That's where
enough.
the real judging starts is when we face the rear.
Yeah, because we got here. Shout out to my man, Black Panther. We have an issue right now. I think she froze up. There she goes. He says, Cara, you are a strong, beautiful woman.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, he's just being polite. Cara, you should definitely become entrepreneur. Yes, I mean she's doing her thing. Also, beautiful smile, Cara. These guys, I'm telling you, they get it. And also, he says, this car, you should definitely become an entrepreneur. You are a strong, beautiful woman, great inspiration for women worldwide. Yeah,
Oh,
but he just glazes it on. And this one last one here, he says, Sharonica is a beautiful black woman with muscle. Yeah, she is. I got to
yes,
meet her.
she
I got to
is.
I
Yeah.
got to hug her too. So like especially in training, what's that thing you when you're in the gym, you say, I love this. This is the thing. This is my euphoria. And then that one say, shit, why I gotta do this shit? Why that? Not today, not today, not today.
It doesn't, it's not always the same because a lot of it will depend on what injuries flared up at that moment. But I would say one of my least favorite is like an RDL type move or a straight leg deadlift type move because I have a hip and hamstring injury. So I'm not crazy about those movements. Um, I'm a big fan of barbell squats. I love to squat. I don't I don't do it a lot, but I love to do it. I love deadlifts, but I don't do them a lot either. In fact, I rarely do deadlifts. But any sort of pull movements, like one of my favorites is like a flat pullover. The flat bench dumbbell pullover is one of my favorites. Those um, and probably any tricep movements are my favorites.
Mhm. What you feel like is your best asset overall when you get leaned down, when you get all shredded? Like there's the old smoke saying, "Relay is rock hard, we're rock hard." So what's that? When you feel like when you look in the mirror, you say, "Like, wow, this is." Mm.
Probably my legs. Yeah. I know my glutes need more development. They're not dense enough, but my legs are what have I think carried me through most of my competitions. Because my back and shoulders just work quite wide enough. So for me, it's my legs that I'm the most proud of.
Yeah, it should be. I think that's the thing. I think especially leg day is probably one of the toughest days for a lot of bodybuilders. But if you make those improvements, like if you look at the girls at wellness, they got horse legs.
Yeah,
They look like they should be
a
pulling
mess.
a wagon, across the valley. And I think every woman has a particular thing about them that really accentuates their physique. And that's the thing. You work on your strengths as much as you work on your weaknesses. Shout out to my man Panther. He says. Ashley Lynette Jones is the greatest. She is. She's a great lady. She shot me out after she won Olympia, got second place in Olympia last year. Says
Yeah.
Andrea Shaw is the greatest female bodybuilder and businesswoman. She is, and she's my girl. And also he says, Linda Murray is my favorite female bodybuilder. Her current residence is Arizona. Is beautiful. Yeah, I know that. And also, yeah, one more. I respect women's bodybuilding and strong women are beautiful women. Yeah, you do. He just keep hammering it up. But I appreciate it. We all know they're beautiful. We all know it. Yeah. No. Don't tell me that. But this is the thing about this sport. It's about finding something that really inspires you, that really drives you, that really bring it a goal. Like one thing, everybody wants to make to Olympia, but it's way few between. As you know, we mentioned earlier the Masters. Oh, that's coming up next year. They hadn't say where they're going to have it. That's the thing, because I know usually they announce it. I hope they have it in the States because there's more shows here than is overseas.
I'd be curious to see where it's going to be. Yeah.
I think a great place to have it would be Orlando, where they had the Olympia during the pandemic. I mean, I've talked to ladies that they love when they were in Atlanta because there's more to do there. Vegas is nice, but it's not a lot to do unless you gamble and if you have family. It's not much to go to. It's a very adult. They try to be family oriented, but it didn't work too out for them. West. They went back to the
Yeah.
like it's you go to Vegas and what happens in Vegas stay in Vegas.
Yeah. I think right now Vegas would be happy to get anybody out there.
Yeah.
Tourism has slowed down so much.
Yeah, like I said, I thought about going there, but I've never been on a plane. I was thinking about going, take a flight to my first show upstate, but up north. But with the cost of again, we go back to cost of traveling for bodybuilders, between not just, making reservations for motels, getting plane tickets, food, if you don't have a rental, you got to take a Uber.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a sport where I wish there was more compensation for the athletes, just like any other sport.
Well, yeah, I think that would be nice. There's a lot of fans of the sport, I think, that can step up and have stepped up to help a lot of athletes, and that goes a long way.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever been sponsored before as an athlete?
I've had small sponsors here locally that have helped out, some on a personal level, some friends that have reached out and sponsored me, and some small businesses, and of course, my gym sponsors me, but not as a major sponsor to carry the full load, no. But I will accept one if anyone offers.
Well, that's the thing is, if I could do this, and if, I wish I had the means, the way to do this. I would love to, like many ladies, I see y'all have potential, and even though you may not be a superstar, you are an athlete. You need to be opportunities not to worry about how much you got to pay for this, how much got to take care of that. Somehow to take some of that pressure off you. I would love to do this. I would love to approach you and say, "Hey, I have a plan. I have something that might work out for you." But again, there's these guys out here, Cara. As you know, they say, "Hey, Cara, she got these bright eyes and the blonde hair. I got some ideas for you." No, you sick freak. Calm down. You,
Yeah.
we know what you're talking about. It's not what you want. This is what, if I could do this, I would say, Mrs. Barnes, your story about how you got into sport, your dedication, your growth as a bodybuilder. If I would offer you this opportunity to be one of our brand ambassadors, we'll cover the cost of your next company show, take care of this. If you feel like a product works for you in your process of bodybuilder, we're happy to help you out in your upcoming competition year. But let us know if you agree with this, if something you feel like it works for you and works for us. We have a great relationship. Will you feel like
Right.
you will be interested in that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
wish I could do
absolutely.
it. I wish I could do that. I'd be saying, sign a contract, baby. I
I
got you.
know, right?
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, we got here a comment from my man Black Panther. He's sticking it. He says, "Beautiful smile, Cara. You are the greatest." Also, he says again. He says, "Beautiful smile, Cara." Yeah, yeah, yeah. Also, we got here my man here. Lawrence Perkins says, "Hello, Miss Cara Barnes, George, everyone in the chat. Thank you, brother. How you doing?" Also, he says this. He says this. He says, "Wait a minute." He says, "Tennessee is a beautiful bodybuilding in Tennessee is great." He says, "You might." I'm surprised you didn't say it's like, "Hey, so you're from Tennessee? So you're only 10. I see." That's one of the corniest pickup lines. Does it work?
Corny can be fun. I like corny.
Yeah, that's thank you. All right, so we're not going to hold her much too longer. I know she's a busy lady. She's getting ready for an upcoming show. She's training, dieting, working with a client. Shout out to a client. Congratulations on your coming your shows this past weekend. Um, thing about we go with bodybuilding, how it's changed and evolved. As you know, recently you saw Sarah Bradley, who won at the Ultima Classic, but there's a lot of talk and controversy. I think it has to go with what do the judges want to see? What should the athletes bring? Like you've been in the sport for a while. What do you see? Feel that needs to be like enforced, or maybe even suggested when you get into the sport? Where you should belong, where you should work as a bodybuilder.
Well, I think you kind of hit it on the head earlier that makes it a little challenging for us as athletes is the line between women's physique and women's bodybuilding is a little blurred. I think it's hard to identify for some of us where we fall. And the judges will tell you if it's one or the other sometimes. Yeah, I know athletes have gotten that feedback. So other than that, I'd say as athletes, confidence is the most important thing. And when you learning how to pose for your body is extremely important. Uh, a lot of people, even with posing coaches, a lot of men and women, but a lot of athletes will pose based on a standard, but not necessarily what's the best for them. And it's happened to us all. It's happened to me. I've looked at some of my competition photos and went, what was I thinking? And that wasn't the right pose for me at that moment. But I see athletes that I think maybe could have done a little bit better if they just put a little bit more emphasis on posing and presentation. But a lot of it comes down to confidence, and you can't. There, I know I've seen a lot of the debate as to whether Sarah will should be in women's physique or women's bodybuilding, but you can't take away from the fact that when she stepped on that stage, she ignited, she glowed, and you can't take that away from her. And I think that says a lot, and it puts a lot of the spotlight on her as an athlete.
Yeah, and like I say, she's a young lady. I think she has time to grow and develop. I think everybody finds something about the sport that they really brings out the best of them. But sometimes I'm gonna bring out the worst in them. I think it's about really working on yourself. This is about yourself. It's not about
Right.
the people over here who saying like, you got big old muscles and yada yada yada, and the other people over here saying, well, I don't know if it's something for me, but it's not for you. It's about this person, their goals, if
Yeah.
they want to make the Olympia, great. They'll make the Master Olympic, great. If they just want to be on a bodybuilding stage for the first time, like a couple of your clients, that's something for them. But you know what? It takes a special breed of people to be dedicated, to be determined, to be disciplined, and persistent to do the sport. And most people won't be able to do that because it's so be easily distracted in life.
It's easy to do it once. It's
Mhm,
easy to turn off all the distractions and do one show. But if
yeah.
you're going to commit to doing this for an end goal, whether to be to go pro or be competitive or for the Olympia stage, that's when it gets really challenging, when you have to change things in your life for that goal.
Mhm. Well, we got a few more comments from man Black Panther. We're sticking here. He says this. Uh, he says, congratulations to Sarah Bradley from the UK. Also, he says this. One more here. He says, confidence is key to great success. And also, he says, I love female bodybuilding, and also, dude, come on, calm down, brother. He says this. He says, give me a second. He pop out the pop up. He says, beautiful smile, Cara.
I
This
mean,
dude, I got some beautiful smile. I know she's, yeah, but like again, you should always respect the lady when she's in presence of, of us gentlemen. So we're not going to hold much too long. We appreciate the time she gives us to talk with us. I've been trying to get on here now. I finally got her. Yes. So, I will ask you this: what would you want for yourself out of the sport as a whole?
hmm, what do I want out of the sport as a whole? Ooh, George, that's a good question.
Yes, I'm good at that.
For so long, I've only allowed myself to think about the next competition, what's coming next. I try not to look too far down the road because I feel like you'll lose sight on the objective in front of you. Uh, One of my long-term goals um, I want to make it to at my age. I'm going to say the Olympia Master stage. I want to make it to the stage. Uh, I'll be 48 this year. I don't know how much I've got left. I know there's a lot of great athletes in their 40s and 50s. Um, I just don't know how much my body can do it. So that's one of my goals. But other than that, if whether this next show is my last show ever or I keep competing, I think I've already achieved everything I wanted out of this sport. It's made me who I am, and how I view the world is different now than it used to be. And I think I've achieved all of that already. Well, I'll continue to work on myself, yes, and continue to grow as an athlete and a competitor. But everything I do also makes me a better coach. And I feel like while there's always room again for improvement, always, 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 as far as this sport, it's already given me everything that I could have hoped for.
Hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, it's like anytime you get into something that really gives you a passion, that gives you drive, and you should enjoy it. I mean, life is short.
Yeah.
Things can happen. Like, one thing about me, I have a pacemaker. I had it for almost 12 years.
Mm.
I was, it's just bad genetics and bad things. I should have took care of it myself. But then now it's not too late. And again, if you want to take a step back and focus on your life and focus on you, yeah, it's always going to, bodybuilding is going to be here as long as it's here, as long as there's competitors, a lot of people who want to compete and drive to be the best, and you want to shoot for the best Olympia is good. Never hurts you also shoot for the big Olympia, but what I said again, it's about what you want for yourself and what your goals are.
Oh, don't get me wrong. If I were to qualify for that Olympia stage, I will go. I will go. It's just that's the pinnacle. Like, who doesn't want to do the Super Bowl of our sport?
Yeah, and the one where it used to be the Pro Bowl of the sport, that was the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic, but it's not. Arnold don't care about monster women, he just cares about pretty little girls and little
Yeah.
bikinis and high heels, and he even pushed out figure, and that's like what?
I know. I know. But what can you do?
What he can do, that's his show. He's just what he want to do.
Yeah.
Shout out to my man here, Black Panther. Thank you, bud, for sticking here. I know I've been busting your balls, but I appreciate you. He says, Cara, you are the greatest. Hey,
Oh, thank you.
she is, and also she's a lovely lady. I'm sorry. He's sleeping out. He has to say something to you, Cara. Cara, I want to tell you something. You are beautiful.
You're too much.
I know it's not me. I'm seeing the specials about this, but I gotta let him come out because I don't. He's gonna take over my mind fully. I have to let him sleep out a little bit. Shout out to my man, Kid Elder Wonder. He's come in, seeing the crime. He says, "What's up?" And he says, "Shaking my head." He's a hater. He's my brother, but he's a hater.
Okay.
So anyway, before we let you go, you have anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Well, I would like to thank you for bringing me on this podcast, George. I've had a really good time. My coach always, and my number one supporter and fan, Craig Tennell, and my entire Physique Gym family. We're a tight-knit group here, and we call ourselves the tribe. All of my tribe members. I would not be where I'm at without their support. So
that's good. That's good. You have bodybuilding, even though it's kind of, you're on stage on your own, but it does take a team to get you there. And,
yeah.
And us people who go to shows, who see y'all ladies up there, these men and women, we don't understand what you go through. Tired, dehydrated, hungry. You're anxious, and you only have a few minutes to present these bodies. And we see these amazing bodies, the work, the effort you put into it. And then you got some guys sitting there going to say, "Yeah, who's that blonde with the, yeah, I wouldn't mind, yeah." But hey, you sick freak, calm down. This is a nice lady. Reach out. I say like this, guys. You get more with sugar than you do with vinegar. And guys, sometimes you do better with a silk glove than an iron fist, but I know what you do with that iron fist. So folks, we like to thank Cara Barnes. Wish her best of luck. She's going to be doing the Rising Phoenix / Arizona Pro this coming August. It's a great show. I will watch it because I do support that show. I do support Jake Wood. He is a guy who's been doing good things, especially for women's bodybuilding. We hope to see her maybe some more. Maybe there's a couple more shows she wants me interested in doing. Whichever, maybe next year or whichever time she feel like working with her schedule. But I would say, ma'am, I wish you all best of luck, and again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
All right. So, folks, I thank my guests are here. Shout out to man Lois Perkins, Sean Millen, Nodos, Haley, my brother KL, the one who just came through here. Black Panther, brother, you've been sticking in here, but I know I've been giving some flack, but brother, I appreciate you.
Yeah,
you appreciate my work. And folks, if you want to follow her, links to the description of this live. If you want to support her, if you're someone interested in maybe sponsoring her, it has to be much. If you're in the area, Cara. Hey, gas is going high. I know over there in Arizona, y'all paying an arm and leg and a kidney and a firstborn for your tanks. If you can feel it, you can support and help her out, reach out to your interests, guys. Don't be weird. Be understandable. Be respectful. Anyway, folks, this is MuscleTalk Monday 293. I appreciate y'all coming through. Thank y'all, guys. Enjoy the first of this month. Enjoy this upcoming season of this competitions. And there's some coming this weekend. Haven't put the list yet. We'll check out where they are. So, folks, see me on our Joe page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe. Good night, good luck, God bless, and see you next time.